Breaking news, my country people, it don't happen. The Nigerian Labour Congress has suspended its nationwide protest. My country people, this is interesting. All of a sudden, the NLC has decided to call off the 2-day nationwide mass protest after the federal government failed to meet up with its agreement that was reached on October 2023. They issued an ultimatum to the government before they embarked on today's protest. Now, on the eve of today's protest, the federal government met with the leadership of the NLC. It was an emergency meeting. God knows what they discussed. But people felt skeptical about the meeting between the NLC leadership and the federal government. Because we always hear one story. They come out at the end of the day, calling off the proposed strike. But Nigerians were quite, surprised when Joe Ajero insisted on, going ahead with today's protest. Now, after today's protest, the NLC leadership have said that they are not going to embark on another protest because this is meant to be a 2-day protest to be held on the 27th and 28th of February all over the country. Now, the Labour in a communique at the end of its National Executive Council meeting has said that the objectives of the protest were achieved on the first day of demonstration. As it is now, Nigeria is battling with rising inflation, food inflation, forex crisis, economic hardship with a high cost of living occasioned by the removal of petrol subsidy, which has attracted a lot of protests in part of the country. The presidency has engaged Labour leaders in last-minute talks on Monday night, but the meeting ended in a stalemate as the NLC insisted that the protest was going to hold. And subsequently, the NLC grounded economic activities across the country, with the Labour leader Joe Ajero saying that the protest was about hunger and not just a clamour for the review of the minimum wage. So we all noted how this protest was about hunger, the sufferings in Nigeria, how the people are struggling, the common average Nigerian struggling. However, the nationwide action continued when the NLC president noted that they would embark on this strike today. And now they've extended an ultimatum to the Nigerian government for another 7 days, which will expire on the 13th day of March 2024, within which the federal government is expected to implement all the earlier agreements of the 2nd day of October 2023 and the other demands presented in a letter to the federal government today. So to meet and to decide on further lines of action, there would be a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government. And if they refuse to comply with the demands, then they would embark on another strike. So my country people, this is really interesting. I mean, the NLC, it seems that they are fighting for themselves and not for the interest of the Nigerian masses, not for the interest of the masses. Because it is quite unfortunate that the NLC has become a push and start motto. It is a pity. Ever since the exit of Adams Oshomole, NLC has become a joke and a shadow of itself. So the NLC is simply fighting for their selfish interests. And there is not much to say about it. These guys are fighting for their interests. So at this point, the Nigerian workers will no longer take them serious because it seems that they are out for themselves. Because the protest that was held today, the TUC had to back out of this protest. Only the NLC embarked on the protest. So my country people, Nigerians have reacted. Well, it seems that Joe Ajero and his gangs have achieved what they came for. This Yeye Labour president, they want to hijack the protests. I hope you are not dreaming of removing NLC or disturbing Tinubu's government. I think NLC is the first joke of the year. NLC is a scam and the protest is also a scam. The NLC strike should continue indefinitely until the president sees the consequences of his actions and reduce the pump price of fuel, and also the withdrawal of fuel subsidy is the fundamental source of hunger and the deepening crisis currently, destroying the Nigerian economy. Because no matter the amount of palliatives, nothing will address the problem as long as the prices of petroleum products are high as they are. Okay, guys, these are reactions from Nigerians. Well, I'm not surprised that the NLC, pulled out at the very last minute after engaging in today's nationwide protest. They've decided to pull out. And recently, the federal government had talked about the agreement that was reached between the organized labor on October 2023, I beg your pardon, the memorandum of understanding that was reached with the labor union. The FG had noted that it had somehow fulfilled at least 90% of the agreement with the labor. So I don't know why the federal government has insisted that they have fulfilled 90%, and yet the labor is still kicking that they've not met with their demands. So guys, this is quite interesting, and the labor leaders have indeed shown their true colors and what they are really made of, that they can be easily compromised. Look at how they are toiling with the feelings of the masses, how they suddenly call off the planned protest, meaning the protest is over. The NLC seems to be an unserious organization that has betrayed the trust of the people. They've always betrayed the trust of the Nigerian masses because of their personal interests. And it seems that it was the arrangement from the last meeting being held with the federal government, and they must have collected their shares. So they have achieved their objective, and now they are leaving the Nigerian masses to fend for itself. So now the labor union have cashed out big time, and they are backing out from the strike. What can we say? The Nigerian masses will continue to suffer as long as the NLC leaders have successfully collected their own part of the national cake. Guys, these people are truly unserious, and at some point I feel that the Nigerian masses have totally lost all confidence and all trust in them. So my country people, there would be no more protests tomorrow, 28th of February 2024, as the NLC have suddenly backed out of the nationwide protest. I'm dropping you guys. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comment section. Thank you.